Today I'm going to continue talking about Hinduism. And I forget what number I'm on.
3.
Oh, I'm on 3. Go figure. So this is what happens when you get old. The brain is the first to go. Do you know that after 9/11, people flocked back to churches by the thousands in this country? Why? Because they were shocked and they were scared. After 6 months, the attendance started to drop off. And after a year, very few of those people continued to go back to church. So what do the Hindus say are the motives for devotion? In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says there are 4 conditions under which people turn to God. The first are those who are in trouble. Someone is sick, someone is dying, the house is in foreclosure, they are about to lose their job. And suddenly they are on their knees begging Krishna to save them from calamity. Secondly, there are people who want something very, very badly, and they just haven't been able to get it on their own. For example, someone who is very lonely and is very desperate for someone to love them, and it's not happening. They're not meeting anybody. It could be a husband and wife who desperately want to have a baby, and that just isn't happening. It could be somebody who wants to live in a better, safer neighborhood. It could be somebody who is looking for a new career that pays better. So this person is begging to receive what he so desperately wants. Now, the next person is someone who just wants to understand. What is God really? What is it? How does karma operate? For this person, the quest for knowledge is their burning motivation. And they are so amazed by the mystery and the complexity of the universe that they spontaneously turn to its living source, the energy, the source of power in the universe, in wonder and in worship. Now, the final type is someone who loves God for God's sake alone. The truth is, and if you haven't discovered this for yourselves, you should. Whatever is greater than we are is so low. It is so low. This person has no ultimate motive. No, give me this. No, give me that. It is strictly about love itself. Now, Krishna says he is delighted to accept prayers from all kinds of devotees. But the soul that delights him the most is the one that comes to him out of pure, unselfish adoration. So in Hinduism, how do they recommend that we deepen our devotion? The pressing affairs of life intrude on all sides, and trying to turn our attention to something that is non-physical, we can't see it, we can't hear it, can be really hard. Except for the few handful of people who are innately, mystically inclined. For them, it comes naturally. For the rest of us, it takes effort. And the following are some of the tried and true methods that the Hindu sages recommend for deepening our connection with the divine. The first is basically what we're doing here. Keeping company with fellow devotees. The mutual support of others can be a continual source of inspiration. Or you can seek out the company of a God-intoxicated mystic, which is the best form of inspiration, short of having your own personal experience with the divine presence. The second one is making a joyful noise. And Kristen is such a big help on this. Singing, dancing, laughing, not mean laughing, happy, nice laughing. The singing of beautiful hymns and the reading of devotional material aloud. Now the third is divine obsession. And here we're getting deeper, okay? Remembering God throughout the day. Thinking constantly about the attributes of the divine, which would be strength, purity, love, and grace. Reading scriptures or chanting a mantra. Now, I have a friend. He's a very interesting young man, younger than me. And his whole life, he had been a very angry person. He was just an angry person. And he loved to fight with everybody. Him and his wife would, their house was like a war zone. Because all they did was fight with each other. And one day, after an involvement with the authorities, he decided, you know what, this really is not working at all. And I need to drastically change what I'm doing if I want things to get any better. And so he found a Hindu mantra that felt right to him. And it happened to be a mantra to Shiva. It's Om Namah Shivaya. And he started chanting that to himself all day long. When he was at work, he would let it run through his head. All the time. And all of a sudden he discovered he wasn't mad anymore. He didn't have any interest in fighting with anybody anymore. And the crazy thing is his wife actually divorced him because she couldn't stand the fact that he didn't want to fight with her because she loved fighting. So she divorced him and married another guy that she could fight with 24/7. And he at this point, this was some years earlier that he did this, and he now does a lot of meditation teaching and spiritual teaching. He has become a remarkably beautiful, loving human being. The fourth one is ritual practice. At least once a day, sitting down before your home altar to make a living connection with the Supreme Being in a short ceremony of prayer and worship. It is like making a phone call to keep in regular contact. Now, my girlfriends who still have a living mother, that's what they're doing. Every day, they're calling mom to make that connection. This is the same deal. And the final one is very intense. Surrendering our attention. This means offering your innermost being to God. And this kind of total self-surrender means not only letting go and offering the stream of thoughts that runs through our mind on a daily basis, but remaining in continuous connection with the divine. Staying in this kind of state of spiritual balance is not easy. But with time and with practice, it can become natural, just completely natural. You stay in that state all the time. Now, one of the things that I love about Hinduism is the fact that they openly recognize that people are all different, unique expressions of the universe. And therefore, they don't try to force everybody into one form of worship with one set of beliefs and one set of rules. Instead, they have a number of paths of worship that people can follow. Imagine that. You get to pick out the path that works for you. What a novel idea. Now, there are many. Today, I'm only going to be talking about 3. And these 3 are from the Bhagavad Gita. And they are the ones that Krishna talks about in that scripture. The first one is Bhakti Yoga, which is the path of devotion. And it is often recommended as the easiest. Well, you know, if you really get into it, that's not true. That's not true. Yes, the divine's love is sweet. And walking the path of devotion is life's greatest pleasure. However, there are requirements set forth by Krishna, such as, quote, don't hate or harm any creature. If you truly love me, you will love everyone. Don't think anything belongs to you. Everything in this universe is mine and mine alone. So you're sitting outside in the garden and the mosquito is having lunch on your arm. Don't hurt any creature. Okay? It can be tricky. Now, a real bhakti is serene, forgiving, content, and self-controlled. He or she is unswayed by anger or jealousy or fear. And they truly desire a connection with the divine more than anything else. Whatever occurs in life, this devotee remains relaxed. He or she doesn't dread the difficulties of life or waste time over grieving what has been lost. Friend or foe, a bhakti honors them both. They are both children of God. They are both part of God. And his or her heart is always brimming with love. Now, Jnana Yoga is the intellectual path. And this is one of the world's oldest prayers. And it is from the Rig Veda. It says, lead me from unreality to truth. Lead me from darkness to light. Lead me from death to immortality. On this path, ignorance or lack of knowledge is considered to be dangerous. That is one of the big things that causes people to suffer when others are acting out of ignorance or lack of knowledge. One needs to truly comprehend that, quote, everything we see here in the physical world is the one supreme being. The entire cosmos is not and never has been anything other than divine being, unquote. And yes, this path has requirements. You need to be able to discriminate between the eternal and the non-eternal. What is non-eternal? Absolutely everything in the physical world. You have to recognize that everything in this world, including your life, is fleeting. But there is an abiding reality that is beyond this universe that endures forever. This path also demands that you release all cravings and desires. No more chocolate milkshakes. You must fully surrender all of your actions and desires to the divine so that you can focus on what is eternal. The other thing that they say is very important. You must have your psychological and ethical act together. If you have problems in those areas, this path is not for you. You need to be truthful, even-minded, honest, and self-controlled. This is also where sometimes people on this path get themselves messed up, is they think that all they have to do is learn a bunch of information. That's just happened. The other half is you need to take what you have learned, put it into practice in your life, heal yourself, make changes in yourself with that information. And then you are truly experiencing this path. Karma yoga is the path of selfless action. And this path emphasizes detachment from the outcome of all actions. Don't worry about any of them. It says that everything we do should be a gift to the divine. Doesn't matter what it is. You could be grocery shopping, you're scrubbing the floor, you're doing laundry, whatever your work is at work, taking care of your family. Every single action is a gift to the Supreme Being. And they say, don't worry about the results. Don't worry about any of that, because everything is a gift of love. It's all good. It's all good. Now this translates into literally being in love with the source all day, every day. And by acting in this way, we are no longer accruing bad karma. Now, one of the big benefits of this path is that it allows you to function in a regular, traditional life. You don't have to segregate yourself from the world to do this and spend forever doing meditating, chanting, studying. This path is meant to be followed as you live a daily life.